Okay, so here we have a list of 20 phone numbers. These are Illinois numbers with various Illinois area codes. And let's pretend that looking at these two area codes, 331 and 630, let's pretend this is not actually the case, but let's say that the 331 area code is being abolished and any numbers that have the 331 area code are going to take on the 630 area code. Okay, so how can we write a program that will assess the area codes of the phone numbers, and if it begins with a 331, then we'll change it to 630. You actually have all of the techniques to do this. It's just a matter of bringing it all together into a program that works. So we know we have to loop through these phone numbers, so why don't we write a loop that will get us through the phone numbers. So I'm going to use a loop counter of X. We'll start it at 1. We'll go, now we have 20 phone numbers. We know that. Could I hard code a 20? Yeah, I could. What if we add numbers to this list later on? Then I have to change the 20 every time I add a new number. So why don't we just use the get item count method of the array object? Okay, and we're interested in the phone numbers array. Alright, then let me end this sandwich before I do anything else. Okay, so what we're interested in is the area code. So why don't we isolate the area code? We'll say area code, and we saw in the last video we have that get subtext method. Okay, so we'll say text.get subtext. Okay, remember our arguments. First, the text that we're interested in. That's going to be the phone number from the array. So we're going to have the array index in there as well. Phone numbers X to be exact. That's the text at hand that we're interested in. And obviously the X changes as we go through the loop, so that'll allow me to look at each phone number individually. So we'll type that. Okay, and then we have to provide the start position. And really the phone numbers, or the area codes start at position 2, right? Position number 1 would be the opening paren there, but position 2 is the start of the area code. So why don't we start at position 2? And how many characters are we taking? What's the length of the substring that we're interested in? 3 characters, right? Just the area code. Okay, so this code here will allow me to isolate the area code. And once I have that, I need to determine if it is in fact that 331. So let's start an if statement here. If area code is equal to 331. Now notice this is string data, it's not numeric data. So we have to make sure that it goes in quotes. Alright? Alright, so if it's 331, then, alright, then let me end my if so I don't forget when I'm done with this. Okay, then what do we have to do? Well, we basically want to switch the 331 or replace it basically with the 630 area code. So I think what we'll do is, why don't we just forget about the area code? We know we want to keep this portion of the phone number. There are multiple ways of doing this. I think that probably the easiest would be just to isolate this portion of the phone number, meaning the closing paren and then the rest of the actual phone number. And we'll preserve that part of the phone number, and then we'll add the 630 with the opening paren to the beginning. Right? So that'll allow us to reconstruct the phone number, just preserving that last part and then adding the new area code. This is only if the area code is 331. All the other area codes, that'll be skipped. This code here is only going to execute for area codes 331, which is what we want, right? So why don't we, I'll create a variable called preserve. And this is the part of the phone number that we're going to isolate and save. So we're going to use our text.get subtext to end. Okay, this guy only requires 2 arguments. First, the text in question, that'll be phone numbers X, and then the starting position. The starting position is position number 4, right? No, 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be the 5th position, and that's what we're interested in as a starting point, and then we'll just get everything up to the end. So is it okay to hard code a 5? Yeah, in this case I think it is. Sometimes it's not beneficial, like hard coding the size of an array, but here, you know, phone numbers always look like this. They've looked like this for many, many years, and they'll probably continue looking like this for certainly the foreseeable future. So I think it's okay to hard code the 5 there, all right? So anyway, we have the part that we're preserving, and now it's really just a matter of replacing the phone number that's there with the newly constructed phone number, which is going to be this, the 630, with the opening paren, and then concatenate onto that the preserve the preserved string that we just isolated in the beginning there. Okay, so I think once that's done, if it's done, it may not be done depending on the area code, then why don't we just throw a an output statement in there so we know that we'll see all the printed phone numbers and we'll know that it actually worked. If we don't see any 331 area codes, then we know it worked. Okay, so, and I'm just using the loop I have to handle the output as well. Okay, could I have written a separate loop for the output? Sure I could have. Okay, so let's see what we have. Yeah, no 331 area code, so they were all changed successfully. One more thing we see in our instructions up here, write a program that will perform the change. We already did that and print the updated list of phone numbers, but it says also get a count of the numbers that were changed. So I want to get a running total of the number of phone numbers that were actually affected by this. So we've done this type of thing before. Let's just do it again. This is a very common thing to want to do in programming, so it's worth mentioning again. So why don't we say num changed and set it equal to 0. This will be what we call our counter variable. All right, and then in the if statement, okay, if a number was in fact changed, then we want to increment our num changed variable by adding 1 to it. Num changed equals num changed plus 1. Okay, a very common thing to want to do. If you're adding to a value and getting like this running tally like we are here, then you're always going to see that variable name on both sides of the equal sign, meaning the new value is whatever's already in there plus add 1 to that. That allows our tally to grow. Okay, and then at the very end, our last line of the program, we'll do just a quick line of output so we know if the total was computed. All right, let's try it. Uh-oh. What's going on here? Missing a paren? Oh, forgot my right line. Okay. Okay, 8 numbers changed. That sounds about right.